Oh yeah, it's throwing a little Astro and a whip and whoosh, and you can catch the Eiffel Tower spin, and then oh no, it's a green triangle. Just kidding, it's just a fake knot. And this is done with a whip and a whoosh and Astro. Download your 3D file and print your own spinning tower by Josh Rodriguez.
Hey, welcome to PopCast, a crowd-sponsored yo-yo show. Huge shout out to John Anderson and Taka from Spin Gear and all the rest of the sponsors over on patreon.com/DocPop. At the end of the episode, I guess I'll talk more about some of the things we're doing over on the Patreon, including giveaways and live streams and stuff like that. But for now, I want to talk about a concept that I'm super excited about and very passionate about. It is a style of yo-yoing called Astro, which is a sub-style of counterweight. Huge props to Steve Brown for creating counterweight and inspiring all sorts of innovation from that. Astro is a style of counterweight where you have a tethered weight at the end and a sliding weight. That's it. You have a weight at the end and another weight that slides. Before we were doing Astro, we were doing this stuff called sliding counterweight. And I'm not sure who the first person to explore sliding counterweight was. I was doing some stuff very early on. I think Jack Rinka was doing stuff very early on. I don't know who was doing it first, but basically the idea of sliding counterweight is that you have just a knot at the end. So all of this started off with just a knot at the end, and we just had the yo-yo counterweight. Instead of being tethered, it was sliding, and not sliding too much, but it was sliding enough that I was able to find a trick called the martini glass, which looks like this. So this is what really, I think, paved the way for Astro, was this stupid trick. We were just using a knot at the end, and it wasn't long before I found a bead from a bead shop and just put it on the end. It was a metal bead, it was small. It didn't add too much weight to the counterweight, because when I do Astro style, I really still want to be able to do all my normal counterweight tricks. It really just was enough to kind of allow me to do things like that, where I could, you can't throw the knot, but if it has a little weight, you can throw it. So I was very excited to show Astro to my friends at Midwest Regionals. It had evolved from the sliding counterweight to this two-weighted thing. And I remember being at Midwest Regionals, kind of doing something like this, where the two weights were just orbiting around each other. And Seth Peterson, a good friend of mine, said, "Hey Doc, you're still doing that Astro crap," in reference to Astro Jacks, which was a popular toy at the time. So the term Astro, props to Seth Peterson, although, sorry Seth, I'm not gonna call it Astro crap, but Astro, like, I heard him say that and I'm like, yes, that's what I'm gonna call this. That's a good name, Astro. So that's where the term Astro came from. Huge props to Seth Peterson. If you are interested in getting into Astro, there's two things you can do. One, you can take a counterweight and just put any weight on the end. Like I was using a small bead from a bead store just on the end, and then just any, like the dice or a bouncing ball or whatever you want. So it doesn't take much to set up something. If you have a 3D printer or access to a 3D printer, this is a new design that I put up on GitHub, and I'll put a link in the description. This is the Astro Mark II. This is the second one we came up with, a little spaceship theme. When I do Astro, I like the total weight to be close to the weight of a counterweight, like the normal size counterweight, so like around 13 grams, 14 grams for me. So for here, this weight is about 10 grams, and the tethered weight, the landing gear, is about 3.5 grams. That's the way I like it. You can customize it, make it whatever you want. let's start with throwing the tether. So to throw the tether, you're gonna hold the middle piece, the sliding piece. So usually for that, I transition it to go upward, so it's pointing kind of up, and pinch with my free hand and throw. You can do that to go into a trapeze, or you can do that to there, boop. Yeah, you get the idea. So if you want to throw the tether weight, you hold the middle weight. So that's the sliding hold. To do a trick with the sliding counterweight, you're gonna use the tethered hold. So in that case, I'm actually gripping onto like everything, like all the pieces, but I'm kind of gripping them separate. So my pinky has the tether in it, and the ring finger is holding the sliding weight. So here I can slide, and you can see that is just right there. Let's talk about the basics, the bare bones basic. The classic, once again, is that martini glass. So let's talk about that. That just starts with any throw. Take your hand, pick up the yo-yo, circle once around. Now bring your fingers in and drop that weight. I'm teaching kids how to make a martini glass, right? You see that? And it's a stir, and that's that's the martini. You can just drop it, you're done. Let's do that toss that we were talking about earlier, the tethered toss, which looks like this, and you can do this. So, the tethered toss, you're going to hold the sliding counterweight, and the tether is on top. I'm going to pinch, my palm is up, and then I pinch, and then I'm going to throw so that the sliding weight comes right between my thumb, so I can just grab it. And then here, you're just going to pinch so that you have that slack, and you're going to do a circle. Once you do the circle, you let go of the thumb, you're still kind of pinching, and you catch again. Trapeze, palm up, pinch, thumb is ready to catch, this is ready to throw, so I'm going to throw, and then I'm just going to flip, change. Now, from the tethered toss, there's a lot of things you can do once you're in this position. For instance, you can go around, right? Doing a kind of a little flourish. What I like to do at the end is I'm going to swing the yo-yo right, and I'm going to let go of that tethered weight, and I'm gonna try to get something interesting to happen, and then I'll kind of end with a B-stick. Let's talk about another trick that actually almost predates Astro again. It's from the sliding counterweight days. It is a trick called shark repellent, and it looks like this. Cool. So shark repellent is really just about this orbiting move. A move where you put a bind around the yo-yo, and then you take it out kind of at the same time. It can be done without Astro. You can do it by, snapping and trying to get the string to travel. But with Astro, it looks like that. So the setup for this is that you are going to hold the tether, because we're obviously sliding the sliding weight. So you're going to, I like to hold it like this. I drop the sliding weight, I give it a hop so it goes over, and then I quickly come out. So the yo-yo is going to bind on this side and then come out on that side. The front bind is done with the counterweight. And as you see, the counterweight wants to kind of fly. So that's shark repellent in its basic form. The shark repellent combo is a little longer, but that's basically shark repellent, this kind of circular motion. When the counterweight is done, it wants to travel more, so let it go over your wrist. And here I am pinching the counterweight, the tether, and the sliding weight is just kind of dripped on top. And then I'm going to flick it back around and catch it with this hand. On the trapeze, hopefully. Bam. So what I like to do from here, so that's really kind of the end of my original trick. The next thing I like to do is a move that Machikado came up with. So huge props to him. I just like to throw it into the end of my shark repellent combo. So you've done this, you've got a weight in each hand. You are going to slide into a 1.5 mount, and then I'm going to throw and try to catch it on a trapeze again. Now that's, Machikado has a great selection of Astro counterweight tutorials, and that's one of his. I don't remember the name of it, but I'll try to link it in the description. But the whole thing is going to look like this. So sassafras looks like this. Okay, flubbed it a little bit, but that's basically sassafras. Sassafras is gonna have a sliding counterweight, so I'm holding on to the tethered weight, and you're gonna do this classic move that's just palm up with your free hand, and you kind of pinch so that the string stays tight, and you're just gonna swing the counterweight to the left by holding onto the tether. So I'm actually, just to show you how I'm actually holding like this, and then I just transition to the tether at the end. You're going to slide all the way around. Instead of like landing on the yo-yo, you're just going to let go of the tether weight and catch it again. This trick is actually older than Astro. this sassafras. The whole trick was done except without that little orbit part. So before I was doing Astro, I was doing just this combo, and yeah, you know, the rest of it. But you know, since Astro came along, then I added this flourish, which I think is part of the trick now. Boop, and then catch. All right, if you have trouble with that, you can skip it. The next thing you're gonna do is just gonna take the counterweight and just pull it through, pop the yo-yo forward away from you, and catch it on this string. And then you're going to let the counterweight swing to the left, like that. And when I do that, I'm gonna stick my hand through this hole and catch the counterweight and pull it through. And finally, I just spin once above and once below. So I've got this hold and I just go 1, 2. I'm gonna mount the yo-yo here and then hop forward, hop up and drop. That's sassafras. It's one of the oldest Astro tricks. It's, you know, one of those tricks that even predates the secondary weight. So if you want to do it without that flourish, you know, feel free. You can just go around and through, and I think people still think you're awesome. You know, I think it's awesome. But since we have 2 weights, might as well use them. So that's the Astro tutorial. I hope that's a huge help. If you get into it, or if you print your own weights, if you come up with some new stuff, share it on Instagram, hashtag AstroCW, Astro Counterweight, AstroCW. A lot of folks are sharing right now. There's some great playlists. I'll put those up. They're tutorials for Astro that you can find online. So check all that out. So that's the end of this episode of PopCast. Thank you so much for watching. Now, I talked earlier about my Patreon, and I just want to tell you about some of the things we've been doing over on Patreon. First off, this GitHub project is something that I was working on with a Patreon sponsor named Hespero. Huge shout out to Hespero for taking my doodles and making them 3D files, helping me understand the world of 3D printing, and testing these files himself on his 3D printer. That's just one of the things we've been doing with Patreon sponsors. Another is we are doing a once a month virtual hangout. So if you want to join that, you just got to join the Patreon to find out details on when we do that. It's the second Saturday of each month, and we hang out and talk about whatever tricks we talked about in the most recent episode of PopCast. So this next one coming up in a week or two is going to be all about Astro. We're also doing a Name This Trick contest, and that's another video on my YouTube channel. But the Name This Trick contest, the winner gets a special yo-yo from C3 Yo-Yos. So if you're interested in trying to come up with a name for this repeater, go to patreon.com/DocPop and find the post where I talk about the Name This Trick contest. And those have been super fun, and honestly, I'm terrible at naming my own tricks these days. So, it's kind of win-win. The winner gets a yo-yo, and I get to have a name for a trick that I like. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you next episode.